and welcome to this webinar, Report to the Legislature, World Languages and the Washington State Seal of Biliteracy. My name is Dr. Veronica Trapani. I'm the Associate Director for Content, World Languages and International Education at the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. I would like to begin today's webinar with a tribal land acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge the Indigenous people who have stewarded this land since time immemorial and who still inhabit the area today. The Salish-speaking people of the Confederated Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation, the people of the Sands. I reflect on the work necessary on my part to break down the barriers created by an educational system built on a settler colonial mindset. My work with World Languages in Washington focuses on clearing the pathways for tribal, Native, and Indigenous students to earn credit and recognition for their language skills while acknowledging that language is the center of culture. So what is the state of world languages in Washington State? Washington's K-12 students bring with them a rich heritage of many cultures and languages. Recognizing the importance of multilingual communication skills and valuing the cultural background of our state students, the legislature created the Washington State Seal of Biliteracy in 2014. The Seal of Biliteracy, otherwise known as the SEAL, is an award earned by graduating seniors who meet certain proficiency standards in both English and a language other than. The intent of the SEAL was to increase the number of students who are proficient in at least 2 languages. In 2020-2021, the seal was earned by 3,574 high school seniors. In addition to the Seal of Biliteracy, students may also earn competency-based credits in high school if they complete all proficiency components of an assessment in a language other than English. World language competency-based credits are awarded when students meet the level of proficiency established by their district's World Languages competency-based credit policy. In school year 2020-2021, 9,378 students earned world language competency-based high school credits. In the school year 2021, 3,574 graduating seniors earned the Washington State Seal of Biliteracy. These figures include the number of students enrolled or previously enrolled in the Transitional Bilingual Instructional Program and the languages spoken by those students. In 2020 to 2021, school year, 99 school districts reported awarding the seal, and 83 languages were tested. The top 5 languages tested were Spanish, Russian, Chinese Mandarin, Vietnamese, and French. Here we can see the trends of the top 5 languages. While we did have a dip in some of them, especially in the year 2020, you could see that in 2021, there was a bigger rebound, especially for Spanish. We actually saw quite a few more Chinese Mandarin in 2020 as opposed to 21, but most of the other languages either grew or stayed moderately stable. This year, the Seal of Biliteracy WAC, which is 410, 392, 350, underwent a rules change. The hearing was held on September 21st, 2021. This change aligned to the English requirements to RCW 28A.655.250, which is the Graduation Pathways Bill, which no longer requires students to take the Smarter Balanced Assessment. Students must now meet graduation ELA requirements for their chosen pathway to prove English proficiency. And again, those 3 pathways are the university or college preparatory pathway, the career and technical education pathway, and the military preparation pathway. The rules for the language other than English portion of the seal were not changed, but they were clarified. While American Sign Language and Native, Tribal, and Indigenous languages have always qualified for earning the seal, this rules change listed these languages more prominently to ensure inclusion. It also more clearly states that the level of proficiency needed to earn the seal is determined by each tribe. Another aspect that was added was that for students who are earning the seal in tribal languages, if they have an educator, they must be certified under the First Peoples Languages and Culture and Oral Traditions certification. If the language is one of the languages of Washington's 29 federally recognized tribes. However, Just because students sometimes bring in tribal languages from other regions of the country, for languages of tribes outside of Washington, the school districts must contact the Office of Native Education. For example, even this year, we've had students whose listed native home language is Navajo or Dene. That is not one of our 29 federally recognized tribes, so that would be an issue for the Office of Native Education. When we look at the evaluation of the SEAL program, the program has been successful and well received in districts that have chosen to award the SEAL. The number of districts offering the SEAL has grown every year. And while, yes, sometimes we do lose some districts, it's difficult to know if it's a reporting issue or if we had fewer students testing. But generally, fewer districts are lost each year than are added. In school year 20 to 21, students earned the SEAL in 83 languages, which is one of the highest and most diverse in the nation. And for the first time ever, 4 students at Wapato High School earned the SEAL in a tribal language, Ichikan, which is also called Sahaptian and is the language of the Yakama Nation people. The program also needed updated guidance as to how to best implement the SEAL of Biliteracy, as it has multiple steps. Therefore, new guidance was written explaining in better detail how to identify and contact potential students for assessment, how to schedule days for assessment, and as well as how to correctly input data into student information systems. Along with that, there has been some website updates, so that way the new user face for the website will be much more intuitive and hopefully will allow both districts, counselors, students, and parents the ability to find the information they need when they're looking up what they need to do for earning the SEAL. However, every program has some challenges to face, and the SEAL is not exempt. For some students, testing fees for world language competency-based testing continues to be a barrier. Not all districts can support the cost of testing for their students. So while some districts' policies require the district to pay, others might have it that the student pays and is reimbursed, or some districts might just require all assessments to be paid by the student and their family. And while many languages have a nationally available assessment option, many super less commonly taught languages, otherwise known as LCTLs, LCTLs, do not, and custom tests can be cost prohibitive. While Spanish might have 7 or 8 different options when a student is looking to assess, a language like Fijian does not. So test cost, instead of $20 for Spanish, could be upwards of $200, almost $300 for some of these LCTLs. And so this year, the Office of the World Languages here at OSPI did a contract with Avant Assessment and Extempore, and we have looked at having a contract where a certain set number of languages were paid for up through $5,000. Currently, we have looked at both, as of now, Icelandic, Fijian, and Palauan have been evaluated and paid for. Another major challenge is the input of data into the CEDARS system. As the Seal of Biliteracy can only be officially earned by graduating seniors, some data from certain assessments, such as advanced placement or international baccalaureate, can only be entered at the end of the school year. This happens that students might not be recognized before graduation, and some districts who wait to input all the data might not actually show up in my personal data query when I'm looking to answer the questions and update my proviso and legislative reports. While it is very apparent when large or diverse school districts do not appear, such as the past year, Seattle Public Schools, Spokane, or Federal Way, smaller districts might not be as obvious. This skews the data and gives an incomplete picture of the status of world languages and the Seal of Biliteracy in the state. So in order to remedy this, I have worked with our registrars and our counselors, both creating and updating our reporting procedures, as well as continuously sending out information via Simon, the newsletter, for data collection, as well as providing webinars like this. And finally, what are future opportunities for the SEAL? While 4 students of native and tribal languages have earned the seal of biliteracy, more room for growth exists. In order to increase that number, OSPI staff in world languages and the Office of Native Ed are collaborating on strategies to increase access for students skilled in tribal languages to earn the seal. This includes presenting at tribal language educator professional learning communities, as well as presenting at heritage language educator learning communities. Similarly, OSPI is developing strategies for working with migrant communities to increase the number of migrant students earning the seal. OSPI is also working with registrars and district data coordinators to ensure that future data input into CEDARS regarding the seal is correct, timely, and useful. This requires both the training of registrars and data coordinators about the differences between marking a student proficient, aka has not graduated, and earned, has graduated, when inputting the district seal data. Another thing that we are also looking at is continuing to refine and update the guidance so that it is in CEDARS, so that it is more intuitive, that we are making sure that it's understandable for both registrars and our end. And so, also creating and providing more approved assessment options. This creates better language access equity and also gives more options and leads the way for perhaps certain language specific assessments, which could be used by students as not only ways to earn competency-based credits in the seal, but perhaps earn college and dual credit, or even entrance into other universities internationally, if a student is looking to have their language assessed and is looking to go to college internationally. We're also looking at more partnerships, obviously, with the Office of Native Education, migrant and multilingual education, and also our career and technical education. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any information, would like to know more, or simply have some ideas, I welcome you to contact me. My email is veronica.trapani@k12.wa.us, and my number is 360-819-0950. Thank you for helping me in my support of students and educators across the state.